Even if the seceding states were in earnest, he advised wavering Republicans to hold firm, for there were more moral and political considerations at stake. This is Abraham Lincoln talking to people that saying, what are we going to do about the states that are seceding? You got some of these damn states that say they're not a part of the American Union. They're not Americans. They just want to be motherfucking South Carolinians and Floridians. Because they're a bunch of racist piles of shit. So it's kind of crazy that actually, what the hell, the losers are going to say, well, we lost the damn election, but we're still going to hold the government hostage. Well, if that doesn't fucking sound similar. I mean, that is like January 6th, but then don't forget about March 1st, 1954. I mean, they got their January 6th, right? They got their January 6th. But we got our March 1st. Even if the seceding states were in earnest, he advised wavering Republicans to hold firm, for there were moral and political considerations at stake. This is Abraham Lincoln, we have just carried an election on principles fairly stated to the people. Now we are told in advance the government shall be broken up unless we surrender to those we have beaten before we take the offices. In this way, they are attempting to play upon us, or they are in dead earnest. Either way, if we surrender, that's the very end of us. That's the end of us, and that's the end of the American government. It was a refrain that he sounded for anyone who would listen. Give them personal liberty bills. Give them personal liberty bills, and they will pull in the slack. Hold on and insist on the border state compromise, he told Senator Charles Sumner. Give them that. And they'll again pull in the slack and demand Crittenden's compromise. That pulled in, they will want all that South Carolina ask. By no act or complicity of mine shall the Republican Party become a mere sucked egg, all shell and no principle in it. Events took a decisive turn on December 20th when South Carolina officially seceded from the Union. 2 days later, when Lincoln arrived at his office to begin his morning meetings, Nicolay, this is Joshua Zeitz, Lincoln's boys, John Hay, and John Nicolay, and the War for Lincoln's Image. Nicolay asked Lincoln if he had read the latest telegraph reports. Lincoln said no. The secretary informed him of rumors that James Buchanan intended to abandon federal forts in South Carolina rather than risk armed conflict. If that is true, they ought to hang him. The president-elect snapped in a moment of uncharacteristic anger as it became clear that the outgoing president would do nothing to protect federal property and installations, even allowing his Secretary of War to transfer guns to southern outposts where they would surely fall into secessionist hands. Lincoln's distrust of Buchanan hardened. Privately, Nicolay relayed his boss's ire. Just think of it, he told Thorina, in terms that very likely echoed his privileged conversations with Lincoln. The President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy, the man to whom 30 millions of people have confided their interests, sits in the capital of the country, regardless of the protestations and entreaties of 20 millions of his subjects to do his duty, whines and weeps and prays, entirely unmanned and unnerved by a remote and worse than babyish fear. Truly the country is in great danger, but it is from the traitors and imbeciles who are at the head of national affairs and not from the beggarly, mutinous crew down south. Hay, too, thought the lame duck president a weak, pottering old man who would leave only a dark footprint upon our history, one which a century will hardly obliterate. Yeah, James Buchanan. I mean, all you Confederate fucking loving sons of bitches, y'all must fucking love James Buchanan. He maintained your fucking slavery bullshit, your so-called peculiar institution. Yeah, it's peculiar that you called a peculiar institution instead of a systemic fucking system of fucking racist criminal oppression bullshit crimes throughout it all. The president-elect maintained his official silence, even as he privately beseeched his party brethren to hold firm. Lincoln hewed carefully to a policy that his friend Congressman Elihu Washburn dubbed masterly inactivity, declining almost every opportunity. All right, that's enough. Grew a beard. Lincoln grew a beard right before the inauguration on March 4th. The president's whiskers continue to flourish vigorously, Hay told readers of the Providence Journal. Some assume to say that he is putting on airs, and the following is a frantic distich that I rescued today on its way to the stove. Election news: Abe's hair suit fancy worn apparent, hair becomes heir apparent. 1860s American